Well, it's all right now because anything you do, baby, that's all right. Oh, baby, that's all right.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just look it up. Don't be scared. Back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so what? You're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong. You will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate, I attack. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just look it up. Don't be scared.
For those of you out there that have been hitting that like I'm thank you very much.
Welcome everyone to the Impromptu Daily Show from Road Dog Crypto. My name is Lane. We're taking a look at the market today, trying to figure out, did we reach a local bottom at least on this range that we got here? Let's zoom out. Take a look at price action for what we got. Are we going up? We going down? What's happening? Are we ranging, or is this a head and shoulders to the downside? I mean, what's going on with Bitcoin? We in some scary situations here. One day we're feeling like we're going to zero. Next day we feel like we're going to $150,000. Just depends on if there's a red or a green candle on that day as to what these YouTube thumbnails look like. A lot of confusion in my ideas. I don't think that really helps us to figure out what's really going on. First thing I want to point out is that here on the daily, 4 years ago, we got to keep in mind where we were price action wise. January 2021, yeah, we had some nice pullbacks there, some nice ones that brought us down. We're not the only people that talk about this. There's other people that know. We had a 30% pullback. 30% pullback from the high that we reached at 42, dropping all the way back to 28. Ouchie, ouchie. The people were giving up on the market, saying it's over. That was the top. Some people thought that. Some people were saying that. People calling us to go back to 9 to 10,000, 13,000, all kinds of lower thousands. But did we do it? No. We just came down, bounced off that daily 50 moving average, recovered the 9, and then started working on this upward trajectory all the way up to about toward the end, about the 21st of February. It was up only. Now, we're going to have something like that. We haven't come an iffy January. It seems kind of iffy. We're waiting for the inauguration to happen on the 20th, and hopefully we'll get a little bounce or something like this. That would be nice. That's the hopeful situation. Is the deep state going to try to dump Bitcoin, man? Trying to sell all that Bitcoin and dump us down before we do it? They trying to start World War III, trying to put us into a black swan situation before Trump comes into office? Yeah, they could be doing that too. But if that's what their game plan was, well, they're kind of missing their window, wouldn't you think? We still got about 20 days for that happens, and there might be another little time period before anything's actually done and addressed for crypto. So we got some possibilities. There is that possible head and shoulder or complex head and shoulder, depending on what time frame you want to kind of dissect this on. I prefer to zoom out. There's some signs saying that, yeah, we could come down. We're in this big ass green itchy mohu cloud right there. I don't like that. It's not and a lot of times they will drag us down to the downside, especially if we don't, we start showing some red over here. That could happen. But what's been our saving grace, in my personal opinion, on the daily time frame here for Bitcoin is this 9 moving average has crossed bullishly over that 21. On that situation on a bigger time frame gives us a little helium in our balloon to keep us afloat. Now, if we start recovering this, we recover that 21 moving average at 96,000. Things are looking good for us, a little bit more upside there. 7 people, glad to have you here. So we got Chris Klein in the house. We got Jorge Satoshi. How's it going? Chris says, what's up, dog? Jorge says, thanks for the good advice on swarms. Took a good chunk of profits before falling off a cliff. Now in a similar situation with PIPPIN. Could we check this one out? Thanks from Spain. Well, that's worth popping up on the... I haven't even got the super chat or the chat thing out yet. Let me pull that out. Give me just a moment to get set up here. There's Chris Klein. How's it going? Glad to have you guys here. Thank you for hanging out. So I'll go through Bitcoin. I wasn't planning on going through altcoins, but I don't mind doing that a bit for you guys at all. Thank you for just mentioning swarms, because I wasn't looking at it. That's what makes our nightly streams or any streams that we do so cool, because I do like to take coin requests from people. I do like to encourage us to kind of share information and share alpha amongst each other. That's what makes this a better community and a growing community, and that's what helps us to find some good gem picks is you guys. And I bring what I can bring to the table, you guys bring what you bring to the table, and we just kind of mix it all up, and we just have a big old buffet of number go up, hopefully in most situations. We got 1 year to finesse this market and to make our life change in wealth, and we got to start being a little bit more picky about these ideas. One thing that could really screw that up for people is to fake everybody out, expecting us to come down these areas, then maybe even coming down a bit and then flipping up. Now, here's one idea that I want to put out there. I mean, we've come up, and basically we're in a consolidation area, no matter how you look at it. Where you want to look at it as a inverted head and shoulders, getting ready or trying to break its ass to the downside. It could be the full measure move, I believe, takes us down to 74,000. The Bukowski measure move, applying his multiplier to it, takes us only down to about 82. I want to throw this idea out to you, and this has to do with with Wyckoff, because we do a lot with Wyckoff, the whole cycle thing. Markup, distribution, markdown, accumulation, and then markup. And this could either be distribution at these tops, or we could be in reaccumulation as we go up to a higher high. This is what we look at for the market phase, and it's just a place where we level out. We experienced that back in the summer. Oh my gosh, that was horrible for Bitcoin. We thought number was going to go up here at 73,000, going to maybe finally touch and breach that 100,000, and then we started ranging out. One of the clues that we had here that something was amiss was this triple top pattern, and this is different from a head and shoulders pattern. And I find that they break down a lot heavier. This is I've run into more of these this cycle than I have before in my experience, so the books say that they can play out kind of serious and start the signal of a downward trend. So we had that, and this is what that looks like. It's you look at a head and shoulders like this, right? You got shoulder and a big head, then a shoulder. This triple top often plays out a little different, where your shoulders, oops, I did that wrong. Where your shoulders, crap, I can't do it again. Your shoulders seem to be bigger than your head. That was still not right. Try it. Take two. Shoulders bigger than your head, and a lot of times that other shoulder will be lower than this one. So it's kind of like I don't know what's going on. That's how I look at it. It looks like a little guy throwing his little arms up, like a little man just saying, I don't know what's going on. And they usually lead to a lot more downside. Yeah, the trick to these is to take the measure move from top to, so it's top to bottom of the pattern. That would be here technically, wouldn't it? And it met the measure move, and I believe it even went further. Put that at the breakout and come right down to these areas here. Maybe we didn't get it perfectly on that one. We get the ideas, probably a multiplier. But they it's not just like they finish on this move. It's like they continue, right? So we've seen some signs we've had some signs of that over in some of the small time frames, giving us a little break to the downside, I believe. But now we're at this area here that's been holding around 91,000, been holding so far. We lose that, then we could go into, we could do down. Is it going to come down and play down here, or will it do what I was trying to get to, the point I was trying to make about the Wyckoff reaccumulation? Because that's what this was. I got off on this pattern here, but if you're looking at this as a range idea over here, let me just basically draw that out from these areas, and we identify kind of a range. And what they do with Wyckoff accumulations is they often do something called a spring, and that's where they just kind of come in and flush everybody out, make you think that we're, oh my God, we're breaking to the downside, and then they flip-flop and they do something called jump in the creek. This would have been the actual spring there on August 5th, that big dump that we had, that I had some liquidations going on through there. Man, I see my portfolio drop down to levels that made me question why I was in crypto. I mean, it got scary. I started to feel it then. I was starting to feel my emotions. It was showing up on my streams. I admit that freely. You could see it. And the only explanation I mentioned at the time to be feeling that way is that if you are over leveraged or your positions are too high, and I fell into those categories. Because that was a deeper drop than even I anticipated right there. That started getting close to a lot of liquidation points for me, and I was like, "Woo!" I had to be very careful there. So a little slight miscalculations on my part didn't do me any favors there, but we played it like we should, and then when we started getting the turnaround point, according to the WD GAN, once you get that higher high there, you see the trend changing. That lower low that we get after you get your higher high is one of the most opportune times to go all in and go heavy for your move to the upside. And WD GAN did not steer us wrong with that advice, and we mentioned that he's an old school trader. If you don't know about him, look into him. Pretty amazing, pretty deep. It's a big rabbit hole to go through. I can't help it. I got to draw a trend line. I'm always drawing a trend line. This little guy right here, love trend lines. They show me areas that we can find some support. So if we are doing something like this, a reaccumulation, if this is a Wyckoff reaccumulation, which it very well could be, given our point in this market, could we expect a drop down, a little fake out at some point to spring us out? We could. Is it happening today? I don't see it happening today, and it had its chance to happen over the past few days. It hasn't. So that kind of sets us up for a situation where we may be in a range, we might come up and things looking good now. All the thumbnails will be calling for 130,000, 108,000 and all that. I'm pretty sure. There might be a slight chance, but there are certain levels that we got to get above, especially when it comes to my Fibonacci strategy, that will help us navigate this. And if we don't get above these certain areas, then we are in target for a lower area, and that could be a potential incoming spring I know some people are still looking for things to drop down before the 20th. There's even I haven't reviewed his analysis on it, but there is reportedly another analysis on YouTube that's very familiar with WD Gann, and he is forecasting somewhere in these, I think, $78,000 area by January 20th. Now, I was mentioning WD Gann a little bit later. Now, the people that really study him, they can be very, very, very effective analysis. And this guy, he seems to have a good knowledge of it. He does some things. I see some things that kind of a little different, but you know, maybe it's just an interpretation idea. But I mean, that's a possibility. WD Gann could put price with time. That was one of the biggest things that he figured out, how to square price with time to where you could actually put a date with a time, a price level that would be met. He mastered it. He took those secrets to the grave, though, and everybody else has, through all these years, been trying to decipher and figure it out. So if this guy has come along something that may have helped figure that out, maybe it's worth at least taking advantage of. I don't know. I mean, I believe that kind of stuff happens. I've seen those things play out. We made some calls here on YouTube using some of his techniques, and that actually, you know, nailed a day and a prize. I can't repeat it, unfortunately. So I can't claim to have mastered that idea, but the techniques are there and I'm fascinated by them. So that's an idea to put on the table. Are there signs that saying we could come down? Now I've got a way to try to look for it, and that's what I'm going to try to look at today and explain today. We are catching the bounce here at the bottom of the range. So the range traders are very happy. The range traders are going to be pulling out their, this little guy, this fixed range volume profile, looking at it, and that's a great tool, and it will probably go right in line with what I'm going to say here. Let me go ahead and click that off, and we'll put it back up as a comparison afterward. So when it comes to Fibonacci's, and that's what we will be looking at here. Let's see, this was our lower low. We've not broken that. This was our higher high. Let me do a few little fib ranges here. Look at a few things, yeah. So I'm taking this low to high here because that's the bottom and the top of our whole range. And for the big picture outlook, this makes a great way to look at this. Going to make this line big and thick, coloring yellow. That's our 618 Fibonacci. Now I was going to apply this over for this one, and we still can. We will do that. But just from this guy right here to here, that is our governing range for our Fibonacci. All right, so what it says, it has a little bit more weight than anything else. And basically that tells me that we do not get above 97,000. We are in danger of putting in. We got a couple of situations. We can come in for a higher low. That's awesome. That's bullish. We'll have to monitor as this plays out. That's an idea. We could come all the way back up for a double bottom, but it also puts us into coming down to, do we have the fib? We took the fib off. Oh man. It also puts this whole range right here on the picture, and you can see my Bukowski measure move is coming down to a 1.414 Fibonacci. That's confluence. There is also the 666 4-hour moving average down there that we follow around, and it is not uncommon for price to come down and touch it. These are some ideas that I want to throw on the table. If I had to make a prediction for something to look for as a warning, that's what I would say. I wouldn't be telling you 97,000 in those areas. If we can't get above it, can't break above it, we're in danger of these areas. We'll have to monitor on the way down, but that's a good sign that that's in play. So that's one of the biggest things, and that would fall in perfectly for the Wyckoff theory as well. So they could get us all excited again, and of course people be flagging. There'll be the 1 minute charters out there flagging to the upside and calling for, you know, the higher high to come above 103, and that's on the table. It could happen. It could. We hope that it does. Now the moving averages so far look healthy here on this particular time frame, the 4 hour. They're on a good sequential order. We've got the 800, the 666, the 360, and the 200 above it. 100 crossed bearishly, but I mean, we can make up for that. If we can get above this area, reclaim that 204-hour moving average, well, we do have more hope for more upside and get a breakout, possible breakout, may get rejected up here and then come back and try to do it again. This little channel idea that we've got ourselves in, just taking these trend lines here, carrying that angle and finding some support. It's getting a partial decline for that idea, which is a good sign that it is, or a good, and that's the first opportunity that we start looking for, a partial decline in any kind of falling channel, that we're catching support and getting ready to try to break out. I was going to sit here and mess up my chart with all these yellow lines because it just looks so awesome. I just made it worse. Dang it, Sean. All right, so that's my analysis for this move on what could happen. I want to take a look at this move that we got right now. Let's go to the local move and see what it can reveal to us about Bitcoin price action. But right now, we are looking at, this is being a warning area, 97.5. Let us pull our Fibonacci from swing high to swing low. What do we have here? We got a little bit of a different story. It gives us a little bit more of a leg room. I want to mark you. Find that interesting. Keep it yellow because it is a 618. So we got a little zone. We're going to color this red because, well, it could be a bearish zone. I'm going to make a little note so I can remember all this. Must be pressed and mean bullish. I think we can see better if I get the price targets off. All right, and now these other areas can also, this 382. When we do this swing high to swing low, well, I got a special way to dissect that idea for you on the time frame. No matter what time frame, it doesn't matter what the time frame. This is more about price action. But for this leg, if you have a high to a low, your 382 area turns out to be the sweet spot to be buying. After you break out of that sweet spot, you start coming up to the 382. You basically can stair step all the way up this Fibonacci. You just look to the left a little bit and see some areas that confluence, areas where it's had a hiccup, and you know if it might have a chance of finding resistance in those areas, and each one of these does. So we could do something like a slow step up, but for each step up we need to look and see if we're getting rejected. If we come back and lose one of these levels, like if we come up to the 382 and then we come back and dive back in here, we're in danger. We're in danger of, well, we could do a higher low, we could do a double bottom, or we could start coming down to these lower areas. So it gets, so we have to start paying a little bit more attention. But the quicker that we get rejected by often than any of these areas until we get past here, this is on the table. The lower the areas that we bounce from, well, the lower that we could actually end up going. So we got those ideas to contend with. We start looking at something that could be, maybe this will help visualize it a little bit more. The Fibonacci strategy is that you got this, and this essentially becomes a possible measure move idea. So if we get rejected here, we could be looking at this area. If we get rejected at the 618, it's a little higher. If we get rejected at the 382 area, do I have that pulled right? I didn't quite get all of it. There we go. That makes more sense. If we get rejected here at the 382 area, we're looking at this 618. If we get rejected at this 236 area, which we didn't, yeah, we could have been looking at 82. So hopefully, by getting above this 382, we've taken this lower area of 82,000 off the table so far. But right now, this one at 84 is still very much on the table, and I'm going to mark that little guy. We put a little line there just to put some emphasis on it. So this one is still on the table. And if we can make it up to the 0.5, well, then we got this area about 85 that could be on the table for. But if we can get above, well, it just gets a lot better for us, And then once we get above this, then we don't have to worry about that as much. We can start looking more for a bigger picture to the upside. You can be looking for it to come up to at least try to do a double top during the breakout, come back down, and then start trying to reach some of these higher highs, about 104, 105. That scenario could be playing out there. We can fine tune this as we get more information here on the fibs. That's the idea that we're looking at now. So the possibility of wicking down here over in the next 10 days, yeah, it is. So we need, in this market, to have that as a backup plan in whatever strategy you have. Make sure you can handle that or have a plan for it, whether it be stop losses or your leverage is low enough that you don't have to worry about this. Your liquidation is like way down here. That's the situation that I put myself in on my margin trading, that my liquidation is way down here, but I still can play this guy. I'm still buying through here, and if it comes down here, I will be definitely buying. I may, even though my spot margin, put a stop loss so I can have a little more extra capital, and I can borrow more on margin down here and really take advantage of this move if we do that. That's how I'm thinking of this. But if we don't do that, okay, well, then if we get back up here and start showing some strength, I might even start adding back into my positions after we start showing some strength. But we are still, if this is a Wyckoff accumulation, I mean, technically this could go on for a while. We saw how this one went on for a while. I can't imagine us spending 6 months doing this at this point in the market. So that's one reason why I think over the next 10 to 14 days we could see this play, that spring idea play out. So let's keep our eyes open for that. And now if you're looking at this from a pattern perspective, let me clear off some of this stuff. If you're looking at this from the patterns perspective, and then we'll get back to the range thing. I forgot I said I was going to talk about that. If we're back to looking at this as a patterns perspective, I know a lot of people seeing the head and shoulders. I've come to find out, respect the original thing. And this is a descending, broadening, opening pattern, or it's a type of megaphone, type of triangle type pattern. Now, these particular guys do have, and it would be a continuation pattern, they have a 55% chance to break to the upside. Now, that's kind of impressive since this line just keeps going up and we're not anywhere close to being up there, but that's what that looks like, that idea. But it looks bullish that at least, the bottom would be the bottom if that is true, right? If it's got a 55% chance to break up, about just a little bit better than flipping a coin, it's got a good chance that this will hold. Now, other people are looking at it more like this. I call this pinching the tip, that approach. But this, at least it's on a bigger time frame if you're taking this approach. And let me get rid of this guy. And then we make more of a descending triangle pattern right here, which also has a very similar chance, a continuation pattern, and a 53% chance to break to the upside. So if you're looking for a breakout, this would probably be the best one to get the early breakout. But keep in mind, the other pattern, the one we start with, it gives us a lot of hope for the upside. We will use this idea to actually catch possible tops. Throw it in with our fibs and figure it out, and use trend lines and fibs and other little things we put together to help us figure out the good pivot areas that we can take profits at. So in my personal opinion, I do think that we're more likely in a range at this point in the time than actually we've had plenty of times to confirm and break below this possible top pattern. And you'll see a lot of times in these accumulations, they will start out like this. Accumulations usually start out with a lower high and then make higher highs, and then they start making lower highs, and then they start ranging out a little bit. It could be tricky to navigate if you're quick to call patterns and believe, not wait for confirmations to confirm them. That's why confirmations of patterns are so important. We got to wait for confirmation. And this one right now is showing the signs that for a head and shoulders top reversal pattern, it could be negating. Before I do that, let me put this idea. Now, before we got this move over here, there were already people calling for shoulder. They would look at this, and then this would be the shoulder, and then calling to the downside back here on December, right at Christmas time, right? I mean, it was, in my mind, it never confirmed. But a lot of people were calling for downside there, and what did it do? It faked out. Actually, for this one, this particular, if that's what you're looking for, you're calling head and shoulder, this very, this is kind of lower shoulder, and this one, if this the idea is, this is kind of weird, but we can all group it under a head, or I don't know, you might even group it under, you couldn't group it under that shoulder, that's not where it touched. But you got to up, and then whoops, I can't even draw it. You got this, and then it come down and touched right here and went up. You can, however you want to fit your definition. The biggest thing is this neckline down here. We're not breaching it. It's being support. And technically, this would have invalidated this head and shoulder idea. It invalidated it. And if we come down and we made another low, which was lower than this one, that's just a weird, freaky thing, but still higher than this one. That's what matters, right? Would have been better if we did that. The lower low here puts us, that's what's bringing this idea into play. Let me clear that out. This lower low here than this one is what's bringing these ideas that we could get rejected into play. Let me clear that up. That might be a little piece of the missing puzzle for some of you guys. But just as this may have invalidated this, definitely if we get a higher high here, if we get lucky enough to break past these here and get a higher high, or maybe even possible a double top here at 102 and come down and retrace a little bit. In my mind, that invalidates this whole idea of a head and shoulders or complex head and shoulders idea. And that would prove that, yeah, we are kind of ranging. And then I don't know if I would still expect a wick. If we are accumulation, I would still expect that wick down, that Wyckoff spring at some point. That's why I really think we got a good chance, if that's going to happen within the next 2 weeks. And if that's what happened, we jump the creek and then we start going up and be the strong ass move. They're getting ready to lead us out. They may try to fake us out one more time. Can we go back? Can we do it? Like they did here. There was a spring, and then they came up, and then they really tried to mess with their heads back here, right? The people were saying, we're going down. This is it. We're headed toward 30,000. Man, I didn't like it. The only thing that was protecting us was following our fibs and saying that we were coming down to a nice little reversal area here at the 786. And then we just started making our higher highs and higher lows. So the fact that this was a higher high than what we had here, this was the higher low, these were the good areas right here to start jumping in heavy. Zooming out on the daily and using that method, this was your last chance to really get in for some good gains there. As mentioned earlier with what we said about WD Gann, that is who I took that rule from. So here we are, 4 hour, looking good, looking promising. We do have some good signs here. 200 moving average, we're below it, we need to get up there. Anytime we're below a 200 moving average on whatever time frame, you consider yourself in a bearish position. So we are still in a bearish position here on this time frame, but we did get a nice little breakout, and it does look like we will be coming up to these areas. So we do have that to hope for. Come down to the 15-minute just to get a smaller time frame idea here, and this is what we've been following for the longest time. Been following it mostly on the 6-minute time frame, and if you look at the pattern idea we got here, it's a falling, it's a bullish megaphone, it's a falling broadening pattern. And I'm amazed because if you zoom out even just a little bit on the 15-minute, you can and zoom out in price action, whatever time frame you want to go on. 1 hour, you'd have to zoom in to kind of see it. 4 hour, 1 hour is a decent one to track it. Whichever, 1 hour is actually really good, man. See how that whole move stayed under that 9 moving average. This is a good time frame to watch and get the alpha on how this plays out. The 4 hour, just those little signs right there. If you see it respecting the way it should move under these moving averages, stick with that time frame. It's got something to tell you. So even the 1 hour was giving us the bigger picture that 72% chance that this pattern breaks out to the upside. Now, I happen to remember saying that exactly over here at this area before we started dropping it and losing it, and saying it even over here, because you don't know where the bottom is. That's the tricky thing. You got to figure out where the bottom is. Now, I was expecting maybe we would get rejected, come down here and make a partial decline area and then break out. But she said, screw you, Road Dog. During our show last night, I'm going to break out anyway. And as soon as we logged off last night, she got her official breakout. And I wasn't disappointed. I was very pleased with that idea. I like to see Bitcoin go up. But what she did was what normally happens with the pattern. And this is why I think, this is why I kind of teach against zooming in on that 1 minute and pinching the tips and things like that. Zooming out when your previous pattern, this one that you've been watching all this time since the beginning of January, that's going to help us figure out what's going to happen, right? Why do we need to zoom in on 1 minute things and sit here and trying to, you know, just come down and try to pinch tips of things and look, we got this. This is not helpful for me. That doesn't tell me much. It helps me if what I teach is that you make your plan on bigger time frames, and then I use the smaller time frames to snipe in, zoom in, and watch it and maybe execute on that trade. But the point I'm trying to make is if you zoom out and just follow what the pattern says, 72% chance to break out, it did. And then what do? They often retest the breakout areas or retest the trend line. One of those two things. So retest the breakout area would be to come here, which it did close candles there, but she did wick all the way to the trend line again. And I guess if we were to draw this, how tight can I get this on this time frame? She did wick back into it. I went from candle bodies to candle bodies. Oh, my timer's going off. But this is what price action does. And I don't know, people get freaked out. I've seen people on the 1 minute trying to figure out if we're in a inverted head and shoulders, if we're doing a symmetrical triangle, prices here, prices don't know, you know, or we doing, you know, all kinds of things. I'm like, you know, and what I teach, I don't have to worry about that because I'm zoomed out. I say, you got a good chance to bounce off of here. We'll see if it happens or not. So you can make this as complicated or as easy as you want. And I just think that with most people, most of you guys have jobs. Most of you guys have not made it to where you can sit home and look at charts all day. I want to help you get there because I've gotten there. And I didn't do it through selling trading courses or anything like that. Any YouTube income that I get just kind of helps offset the expenses that I have for YouTube because, you know, it costs money to pay for these programs that I use and things like that. I'm not out here to try to do that like some of these other guys are. And so I don't know, maybe the 1 minute tactic is just to kind of get you reeled in so that you go in and you become dependent on what somebody, I don't know, but if you zoom out, it just gives you a better picture of what things are, how things are going to play out. And we're not even zoomed out that far. We're just on the 1 hour. Technically, that's a small ass time frame. So the small ones are for scalping and things like that. And it's fine. But the people that make their plans on the 1 minute, if I were going to make a plan and draw up a trading plan on the 1 minute, I would be drawing up so I could trade it on something like a 10-second chart or something crazy like that. That would be how I would do that. That's how I would recommend that. We got a trend line, technically, you got a channel idea that tells you that baby, we bouncing off this area, we could come up to the top of this channel, 96, leading us a little closer to maybe 97. Now, if I were going to play on that, I would be doing that, and I'd be coming down to this little 10-second chart, trying to find, well, where can I get in? Where can I get in on this 10-second chart? Do we got anything? You might. Looks like you got a breakout and a retest. Looks like a good place to start thinking about getting in. Look at that. This is how I'd play it, and I would look at this and say, I got a retest. I'm jumping in right now because look what she's doing. Bigger time frame, even though it was the 1 minute, it told me how to play this 10-second. You go big to the smaller ones, do your execution on the smaller ones, you'll have better luck than just sitting there trying to make your plans on the 1 minute. I'm going to jump in now. Oh, I jumped in too soon. Because so many of these guys I see, they get a great trade set up. A lot of times, if they would just be patient with it, it'd work out. But they get something like this, and then I see in the first red candle, they come here on this small 1 minute time frame, trying to change the whole setup. Well, it could be this, it could be that, it could be, oh, there's some divergence playing right there. Yep. I'm going ahead and take my profits. I'm like, man, the trading aspect of this, apart from the TA part, the trading aspect is to control your emotions and to believe in your trade setup. If you make a plan, the proper way to do it is to trade the plan. If you're not waiting for your plan to play out, if you're bailing out too soon, maybe you didn't have a good plan, or maybe you need to finish your plan. Because if I'm going to be jumping out, I mean, why calculate this risk to reward ratio? And it's not a great one. It's a 2.29 to 1. It's okay. Nothing great, just to come up to a little higher high area here. But if I did that, especially with that low of a risk reward ratio, I prefer 3 to 1 or better. That's the general rule. You can finagle around, you can tighten up your stop loss and get all the risk reward ratio that you want there, but you want to keep it reasonable. But that's just what I see a lot, and I don't agree with that, because by the time we get up here, it's like, well, I'm out, and I'm like, well, who took this trade with me? You see, but I mean, why do I want to take your trade? I don't even know what you're doing. I don't know. These are just some of the thoughts that go through my mind, and I'm just thinking, dude, we can avoid all this. We just zoom the freak out, or use the time frames in a way that where we plan on a bigger one and execute on the smaller one. Now, going back to the 10-second, this looks amazing. And how I do it, that would be different from the other guys that are teaching that. And if I were doing it and I made my plan on the 1 minute and this is what I got, well, I'd be following this little guy. I'd be drawing my trend lines. I'd be following this one. Now, if I wanted to pay myself a little bit, maybe take a few percentages out, right there would have been the great little place to do it. So maybe take 25% out, just in case. 10% out, just in case you want to have a little bit, and then you can raise your stop loss to break even after you do that, right? Raise your stop loss to break even. And then you got a little bit of profit in case it stops you out. But what I see the guys doing is that they're getting a winning trade and then they'll raise their stop loss out to where they can just get stopped out. I'm like, we won that trade. Okay, well, maybe you're trailing your stop loss. I mean, you did. You got. I mean, if that's your strategy, that's fine. I'm not dissing it. There's just, you can get more gains if you just wait for your plan to trade out, right? Let's see if it trades out here in this 10-second time frame. Let's just have a little bit of fun with it. Now, see what we got going on here. We're trading the 10-second time frame, people. I'm not actually trading, but I'm showing you what I would do if I were. We're leveling out. Could it be flagging? She'll probably dump down here just a little bit, find some support. This is where I like to pull out my fibs, even on this 10-second time frame. As I monitor this trade idea, this trade setup that we're just kind of going to play through. In the meantime, let me come and get a shout out to you guys. See what you guys are talking about. Chris Klein, or Satoshi. Tommy 2 Liters, what's up, Road Dog? Chris Klein says, still having fun with Caspa. And while we're waiting for some of this stuff, I can go and check out Swarm. Sorry, I got caught up in the charts there. What are you doing? Are you coming down? She's still hanging sideways. That's pretty strong. Notice the 9 moving average meeting that 21. Yeah, we're likely to lose it and come down. So a bounce off this 382 Fibonacci for a flag idea would be what we're looking for. If we don't catch here or here at that 236, yeah, you bust through the 236. See if that 382 area can bounce there, and we might have a flag idea forming. Oops. Oopsies. Are we coming down lower? Oh, looks like we're heading back toward a 0.5 or a 618. 618 is in play. We made a higher high. Hopefully we won't come down and touch these guys again. That'd be nasty. While she's playing that, let me come back to the charts. We'll kind of put them together here, or come back to the chat. Duality Crypto, how's it going? Dominic, hey, welcome to the stream. New name, new face, glad to have you here. We're just applying my strategies to a 10-second chart here to see, just to kind of give an idea. I don't think I've ever had a chance to really do this so much. Bouncing off the 618, boom. All right, let's reconfigure our trend line. Why is that important? We're trying to, our trend lines develop, okay? They start off really steep and then the trend line matures, right? When you're zooming out, you got a bigger mature trend line going on. We're going to try to catch that idea just from this move here. We're going to drag this guy down here. And now the beautiful thing, let me get rid of this guy so she won't be confusing. The beautiful thing about this is that now that we've got a 2 points, 2 touches, you could even argue 3, we got a really strong trend line now. We can start looking for some confluence for maybe some angles. There is at the top there. It's not the greatest. There might be a bigger thing it respected. Or, oh, there we are. It respects this angle right here. Ooh, look at that. I think we just fleshed out a bigger channel idea. If we were to drag this thing on down, we'd see it probably touch about right here. Or a little lower. Not perfect. We're still sticking with that idea. The angle is being respected. And I'm just going to copy that and slide it up here. That gives us some higher high areas that we could go to. I'm going to pull a fib, see if we can lock them in. 2? Were you 0.5? No, you were 618. So I'm going to throw a few little targets out here on this 10-second time frame. 95.301, 95.320, 95.371. See if we can touch those guys. Okay, so what's going on right now? Well, we're breaking that trend line that we just established. That's no bueno. Why did it do that? Kind of what we were talking about earlier when we came to our fib strategy. She didn't break above that 618. So what's she going to do? She needs to catch support here. That's what we really need. And then we can look at this as being a higher low because it's just retesting our accumulation zone. The sweet spot in about 10 minutes, you'd be looking back saying, man, I should have bought more Bitcoin when it's $95,085. It seems to be trying to catch here. It's not yet confirmed. Oh, maybe it's confirming now. Nope. We gotta wait for a few candles to confirm here. See if we catch her bounce, because what she could do is lose that area. Let me put that back. She could lose that, and then we start entertaining these bottom areas here. 94.20, 94.96, 94.990. Oh, snap, she's back in it. We're on the 10-second time frame, people. We're on the 10-second time frame, people. If I were scalp trading, this is how I look at it. So your stop losses would be below this trend line. I failed to say that. In retrospect, okay, so now these guys are on they are in point to be hitting these lower fibs. Let's see if we can get that 1414 here. Give me that 1414 or that 1618. I don't think the 1618 will hit. Or it's a negative 0.414. I'm sorry, I called it a 1414. These are extensions slapped onto a Fibonacci. They're kind of little cheap methods I use. All right, the 2.7 got it. Sweet. That's normal. That is the magical one. I love the 2.7s, the 1.272s. All right, so that signifies we got probably a local bottom. Now we can take swing high to swing low. Same ideas. We need to get past that 618. Let's go for that 786 if she's going to do it. Can you hit my 786er? I know we got a 618 we got to tie with, but you know, we need to be making a higher high. If we don't make that a higher high, then we're coming back down to these areas again. See how that, because we still got this move that's governing us. We can still come down here. Hopefully this is not too confusing, but if we're starting to look at trend lines now, we got this guy, and then we got this guy, which is starting to break out. So let's look and see if we can get back. Can we get back into this channel? That would be bitching to get up here to 95,000. So we're playing trend lines. That one did not hold. There will be some resistance. I like this. I'm taking that trend line. I'm going here to there, seeing the resistance line there, and I think we might get stopped. We might find some severe resistance right there at that 95,100. Let's now include this idea. Let's get rid of our old ideas. We did talk about, you know, how they're starting to mature, and they can still kind of mature out a little bit. The lines were a little bit steep. That's fine. It's starting to tell us what it's going to do. Remember, we are on the 10-second. We're just monitoring this. We made our plan on the 1 minute, a bigger time frame, but we're actually executing on the 10-second. Sounds crazy, right? Let me go back to the chat while we sit here and wait for price action to go out. Notice that I didn't say, oh, we should dump now. We should bail out. We did talk about taking just little bits of profit. What we mentioned to do, we took a little sliver, or we mentioned breaking the trend line over here upon the small ones, taking the little sliver of profit, moving your stop loss up to break even. And that way, even if you do get stopped out, you actually get stopped out in profit. You got nothing in this trade. That's good. That's good risk management right there. But you have to take that little sliver of profit to really pull that off. So that's why it's good to pay yourself a little early on. And then you can move your stop loss up, and then you got a winning trade. If anything, you might get caught up with maybe some minor fees, but that little bit of profit should even cover those fees that you might encounter. So you do actually have a positive balance coming. And now we're doing what we hope to do, bouncing off that trend line. This guy we don't need anymore. That was an example. So we got this one. We're breaking above it. That's good. These guys are in play now. Let's take a new Fibonacci, swing low to swing high. 272 right here. Let's see if we can nail that one. Can you nail this one for me? Right here. 1411 is actually, that one may come up too. Boom. We got rejected. What now? We talked about that idea, and so we look for a higher low. She came up and double top, so we are still in danger for those lower areas. Let's put our foot back up, but we're making a higher, we're hopefully making a higher high. Now let's look at their moving averages. What are they telling us on this tiny time frame? If I can keep moving this, they give us insight too. We got the 200 crossing that 666 moving average. Got a chance to get some support here. Got 100 moving average above the 200. That's good. 50 above it, we can bounce, and we did. We found support there. We made a higher low. Awesome. Well, that just means that we're back in play for these higher targets, baby. Let's see if we can get past this area. That's what we got to do. Should be able to do it this time. And maybe, I wonder which one will hit. Which one do you think it'll hit? You think at 95,300? You think it'll hit 95,315? I've got my arrow at 95,315, so we'll see. I'm trying to get back to the chat, but I'm pretty going to miss out on it. Oh my God, the 10-second is so exciting. Chris Klein says, I'm actually fine with shakeouts. I know I'm not going anywhere. Never sell. Well, I don't know about never, but because you got to take some profits. Don't want to ride it all up and down bull market to bear market. That's no fun. What's on parade? Doggy's live. You just made my day, man. Hey, well, thank you for hanging out. Dominique, I would be most grateful if you could do TA for ASM. Made 90% on it recently and snatched bags before the dip. Oh, looky here. What happened? We got a lower low situation going on here. That's warrants something to look at. Gotta look at it. What happened? You went 886 on me. Oh my God, don't go 886 on me. Did you go 8? You want to pull 886? Are you coming back down here? We got a chance that she might be seeing these little areas right here. Let's see. She may retest this trend line one more time just to kind of freak people out. Look at that beautiful inverted shoulder, head and shoulder on the 10-second chart. Look at this beautiful line that we might be retesting. That's what I'm saying. Look at the retest of this trend line. See if we pull that off. Moving averages say, yeah, we can probably do that. Come on, baby. Don't you dare come down here, Bitcoin. That'd be nasty. Keep moving my trade setup around. I'm gonna have to slide her over a little bit. Can you bounce? Can you bounce? Can you bounce? You looking iffy. Retesting the 200 moving average. You gonna keep it? You gonna break it? Respect it. Oh, you broke it. You broke it. She coming down to talk to Lucy? Are you? No. She's still wondering what she's gonna do on this 10-second. Oh no, we opened the candle below this trend line, so that kind of looks. Oh, she faked us out. Nice one. Nice one. Nice one. Nice little. I thought we closed the candle. It looked like we closed the candle, but now looking at it, no candle was closed below that trend line. So, boom, nice one. All right, so can we finally get from this trend line to start hitting these higher targets? Sometimes it takes them a while to do their thing, you know? All right, let's give her some time to roll out. We'll try to keep that over here and come back to the chat. I tasted blood and I want more, says more Janet Yellen in my opinion. Like my liquidation don't say it's 19 cents. 19. Look, say is it say going down? Shoot. Bitcoin coming back, playing with these areas. So let's go back to the 1 minute and let's go to the Christmas tree candles. I don't know. If you're on this 1 minute, you'd be jumping in and out, making all kinds of excuses, blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't know. Here on the 1 minute, look at this. We got duck lips. See that? See the duck lips right here? On the 1 minute chart. That's the green, and this is the red. It got duck lips. That's bullish. That means that it wasn't bearish enough to make this non-moving average cross over that 21. That's bullish. Bullish on the 1 minute chart frame. Whoa, baby. Let's go back to the 10 second because that was kind of fun. Switch over to my Heikin-Ashi candles because I don't like seeing all that red, green, red, green. Heikin-Ashi takes all that noise out and you get more of the trend in the solid color. That's what the beauty of Heikin-Ashi. If you're a pattern trader, try your patterns with Heikin-Ashi candle and tell me what you think, because I think you're going to be a lot more accurate. Let's go knock out these targets finally. We're still not even to the top of our trade here, man. We still, our trade setup takes us all the way up to 96.04. We're just trying to get out of the ground. So we're just getting started on this little idea here. Now, one idea is another trade setup, and I don't like this one at all. This is my least favorite, is an entry idea where you take the tops like this. And once you clear there, boom, you go in. So some people would have this trade setup. Now this is buy high and sell higher, but you're clearing an area with candles. So it technically is an entry signal. It's just not the one. I don't recommend taking them because in my personal opinion, because what you're doing, you're getting ready to make a higher high, but what comes after a higher high? If these are the areas that we got that could be the reversal fibs, what happens there? A correction. Then you make a higher low. Hopefully you make a higher low. You could come down and make a lower low. So that's what makes buying here risky, unless you're getting out real quick. Come on, baby, do it, do it, do it. Booyah! Look, target reached the 1618. We should get a rejection here, or pullback, I mean. So we'll probably come back down to these areas and then flip those for support and try to go up, unless you just want to just rail through. It shouldn't rail through here to 1618 pull. It shouldn't. Oh, snap. Oh, well, let's see. If you do, I'm all for you. We might be going for a 2-2-3. All right, we try to come back to the chat. I'm just trying to monitor it. It's hard to monitor and do chat on the 10-second time frame. My gosh. Hey, creature of the night is pulling a nooner. I know, a nooner. Ha. A nooner. She is really. Let me move this over. Oh, you guys can't see that. I got my chart school ad up there. Chart school will be starting soon. I swear. I'm just trying to figure out when to actually do the stream, because I got to announce it ahead of time. Otherwise, I just feel like doing it randomly. I don't want to do that randomly. What's going on with this mic? Oh, look, I sound better now. Look, you can actually hear what I'm saying. Microphone got turned around. Some rejection here. She going to do it. She going to get rejected. Sometimes you got to be patient with it. Lost a non-moving average on the 10-second. Oh my God, it's all over. It is all over. Let's see if we can hold this. This would probably be the equivalent of, depending on where you pull the fib, 3-2. I don't know. I'm going to come over to the chat. We did what we said. What we set out to do. Hit the targets that we said that we were put out here. It even went through the one that I put my arrow on. Went to the top. She got a little bit more bullish than I anticipated. Is there anything that could have gave you a clue, Road Dog, that could have been anything else? Could draw a trend line. Kind of depends on how you do it. I would go from candle bodies to that. That kind of comes in there. That's probably about the best one. It gives you an area of resistance that, you know, if you didn't even have a fib, you could at least pull a trend line and connect a couple of dots there and figure out, oh, there's going to be some resistance there anyway. So the buy high and sell higher, this would have been a good place to add to a position too. I failed to mention that at the point when it was adding up. So if you'd been in one and, you know, you took a little profits here and then we came and broke past it, you could have added some more into your position. That was an idea that I failed to mention at the time. Are you flagging to the upside? Oh my God, are we getting ready to go up here? All right, let's sit and see what's going to do, and let's go talk to you guys for a minute. Swear to God, we'll do it this time. Jeffrey Stonis Fire. Hey, welcome to stream, my man. Board PC guy, how's it going? 4 shoulders and a head. That actually is a thing. Bug Pixel bouncing on zone support, deviation of the lows, breakout, retest of the to the blah 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 blah, something like that. All right, loving the TA. Hey, Joe, how's it going, Joe? Joe, a fellow YouTuber on Trade Intuition. Go check out his channel, man. I think he streams about 3 times a day. He gives the alpha out. You need it. You get a good foundation with Joe. That's all we're trying to do is establish, some good trading practices, some good fundamental foundational knowledge that you can apply. Take what works for you, add it to your toolbox, and make money in this cycle. You only got 10, 12 months left, baby. You got to do it. If you're not on the game, you need to start hanging out with Joe, hanging out with me, and hanging out with some other people that you resonate with that actually have some good things that will work, that will help you make money instead of just trying to entice you to. I mean, I'm doing what some of them are teaching right now. This 1 minute. Honestly, if you're trying to make big money, this is not the way to do it on the 10-second time frame or the 1 minute time frame. If you're scalp trading, I mean, all right. But think about how much time that if you're working a 9-to-5 job, this is not the strategy for you to make money. It's not even a good strategy to make big, huge gains unless you're doing some kind of range trading scalping like Jason Casper and like Frankie Candles. The range trading, identifying the tops and bottoms and ranges. That's how you really want to do your scalping, is the range trading. For real. And they've got the results to prove it. Some of the other guys have account balances that just keep coming down and down from 20-something thousand to 24,000 to 20,000 to 14,000 to I don't know. I mean, if you watch, yet they always talk about these great gains. All right, so somebody asked me to look at swarms, and let me back up. I want to take a look at a few coins here. Let's zoom out. That feels weird. So let's take a look at a few coins here. Swarms, nice retracement. So bearish megaphone pattern did what it should do, break to the downside. We're finding some support here. Now you can take measure moves from these guys. I don't think they're always as quite accurate, depending, how you're going to take your measure move. You would, this is one way right here. Of course, you see that did not hit. There's a multiplier that you can apply through Thomas Bukowski, and then we start getting a little complicated, right? And I'm like, I don't want to have to sit here and do freaking equations. So you can take other measure moves and take the middle one. Still a little bit too much. It can still come into play. Let's go from wick down here. I find that these usually kind of come in really close. Oh, it nailed it. Not close enough to call it a nail it. So there's some other ideas in there. Yeah, I mean, really your breakdown is based on your ratios. Really, you'll see a correlation there, and if you're more bullish overall in the market, it's not going to come down as far. I like to use my fibs, so my fibs just kind of answer this stuff for me. Question is, where are you going to pull your fib from for this big ass move? You can go from the very bottom, or are you going to do from the impulse? We can do both. Impulse is giving us a 618 retracement. I like that. That's where it broke out here, and this was the bulk of that move. We would get something relative if we even pulled down to the bottom. It's also a 618 for the wicks. Let's go with that one. That's your big mass move. Isn't that amazing? How'd that happen? We got 2 618s. Crazy it is. That's a great place for us to find some support. That would take us up here to the 382. The negative 382 Fibonacci if we get a full move, 1-to-1 move out of that. Often happens. Let's do a swing high to swing low on swarms. We will get rid of these targets because, well, they already got hit. They're old targets. They can still come into play. They still make, old targets still make good targets, but we want to try to find some new higher high targets and some new turnaround targets. So this 618 is going to come into play for a short-term target. 0.048 cents. Also, this nice little sweet spot here, the 786 at 50, basically 55 cents area. A little less. And now notice that when I do my swing high to swing low here, that level gives us 618 from this particular pull. See how that worked? See how that works? We are also going to tap this 1382 for this one. Same one we tapped for the bigger move. And then I'm going to throw this one in, which will probably go above. It will probably not get its pivot there, but this makes a great target. If this fib stuff don't make any sense to you, that's okay. It didn't make sense to me for a long time either, especially all these other things. But one thing that I saw the magic of the 1.272. Numerically, mathematically, I mean, the 0618 is phi. This is your square root of that guy. So mathematically, they intertwine, and so if it always makes a good target. It always makes a good target. I'm just going to tell you that. If you know nothing about fibs and you add a 1.27 and a negative 2.7 to your fib extensions, to your regular fib, they make good targets for your lower lows. I'm just going to throw that out. It may not be perfect for you every time because there's some other things that can come into play. But that could be the thing that just gives you the edge that you need when it comes to fib trading that helps you nail this market a little bit better. It worked for me for the longest until I finally found the right rabbit holes to dive down to as far as Fibonacci, which I will be going over in the Chart School series on the MemberTube area of YouTube. It is coming this month, I swear to God. I'm going to do an orientation video and go over some of the basic boring stuff. So the first one will be boring as all get out, probably, but that's when you guys can come in and start telling me where you need help and things like that, and start focusing on all that stuff. So we're going to have live trading classes on the $3 membership area. So accumulation area, same rules apply. Rejections at the 618, 786 area. You couldn't get early rejections, but hey, we're not worried about those right now. We're wanting to see this thing start making higher highs. Oh my God, there's a shoulder, head and shoulder playing out right now as we speak. Could it be? Sure, it could be. Okay. Freak out. We also got this guy. That's the main trend line we got. So I can't, she'd have to break all that and really just kill the whole market, swarm to go to zero. I think we got a better chance of holding off that 618 than we do for this unconfirmed head and shoulders pattern. Shoulder, head and shoulder to the downside. Not confirmed. She comes back down here and breaks this. Confirmed. Yeah, then you can start looking down here. Until that happens, baby, we got more of a chance. This being nice. All right, so that's what I see for Swarm, if that kind of helps you out. Let's go back to Bitcoin. Where were we at on Bitcoin? Yes. Is this it? What are we doing? We're on the 1 minute. Well, let's go back to the 1 minute. How we doing? This wasn't it, was it? Crap, I lost our chart. Or did I? No, I didn't. You just got, whoo. You just started booking on me. Okay, we're good. We're good. Go to the 10-second chart again. How are we doing on this 10-second chart? Look at this beautiful idea. We're starting to do a parabolic. We're showing some parabolic signs here on this 10-second chart. Look at this. See that deviation that we got here going on? Look at that. We got trend lines trending. Trend lines are trending and they're gaining ground on each little move to the upside. Was this a fake out, ladies and gentlemen? Well, we don't know for sure. We got some bigger targets we got to get above. But for right now, we're going up for at least a nice retest. I'm thinking my trade setup for this idea was at the $97,000. Where'd the trade setup go? Oh, man. Let's come see what you guys are saying. I'm going to come back to the very bottom here. Thoughts on PIPPIN, also a soul project. You asked for that earlier, didn't you? Let's take a look at PIPPIN. Let's go to 4 hour. Got 16 people hanging out with me. How's it going? PIPPIN. Let's take a look at PIPPIN. MXC. Oh, snap! What the hell? This is on the 4 hour chart. Well, clearly it's a flag to the upside. Man, you need to be taking profit on this little sucker. That's just my crypto opinion. Look at you at a 3618 area for your possible 1, 2, 3 wave. That's your top for a wave 3 right there. For a wave 3, a 3618. That you should get a steeper correction now. Elliot, what do you say? Oh shoot, Elliot's saying it's a 5 wave. Sorry, Elliot. Well, whoever you want to believe there, either way. Me and Elliot don't always agree on things. But still, I was counting this as 1, 2, 3, which 3 should be your biggest. Your biggest. 4, 5. I see it a little different than Elliot, but okay. The Elliot indicator anyway. So this is and you're losing. I'm on the 1 hour. You're losing the 9 moving average on the 1 hour. On the 15, what do you got? Are there any things that can? Let's use our strategy. The other strategy. What would you do? What's the best thing to do? Following trend lines. You're breaking this one right now. So getting paid. So by my strategy is what I'm trying to tell everybody with the trend lines, which I think works great for scalping in small time frames. You would have looked at probably taking profit here. Maybe you did. She break back in and say, oh, dang. I don't ever regret that. She could be doing it again right here. We're breaking the trend line. You know, it doesn't hurt to take a little bit of profit. Take a little bit. Close a candle above it. Take more. Because, yeah, you reaching a toppy top. Something getting ready to change and come back to one of these other trend lines to find support. So great place to be taking profit, and I do expect a steeper retracement on this one. If I had to guesstimate where PIPPIN could come down to. Swing low to swing hard. Tell me where I need more. Well, we're going to look at the 618, and she lines up here with that. It doesn't have to be. If she's got a bigger, stronger move coming up, well, she's going to be a 382 more than likely. Very bullish for more higher moves to the upside. If this is a 3-wave, like I say, we would be looking at a 382. If it's a 5-wave, like Elliot says, then we should be doing an ABC correction. Elliot would be looking for an ABC correction, something like that. I'm looking more for like a 4-wave and then a possible 5-wave idea. I don't know. Let's see. I'm not an Elliot wave trader, so he's got an edge on me there. But it does help you kind of figure some other ideas out. Trend lines do too. Hopefully that's helpful. We got Ashley W. gifted a membership. Captain Crypto, 2 Peepas. It's Remy No Limit. South Cake Dad. Jessica Mendoza. Stephen Forvan. Billy Bong Thornton gifted memberships by Joe. Hey, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Joe just gifted a bunch of memberships, so you guys will have access to the membership area of our YouTube stream. There's some good alpha over there already, and then, like I said, I will be doing the chart school starting this month. But hopefully, I'm trying to get something maybe tomorrow. I don't know. The first one I do may be a surprise one. I'll be going over just, I'm going to go over 8 is, from the beginning, like what I use TradingView and what indicators I use, just some basic stuff like that. So I'm going to go over the first one, and then kind of an outline of what the syllabus of what we'll be going over. I'll be going over horizontal supports, trend lines. I'm going to take it from A to Z. What I do. Breaking down my little system. And then the plans are for me to take these live streams that I do with Chart School, and the plan is put my editor hat on and assemble them down to smaller videos for a course that I will put into the higher tier, the $24 area. And then I'll be trying to do maybe some special mentor sessions on that higher tier level. It's a progress. It's just going up there. That's just how I've chosen to try to do something. So 10, Matty Ghost, $10 super chat. Thank you very much for that. Just happened to see that. NCT, a buy now. Let's take a look at NCT. Thank you for your super chat. Polyswarm. Let's go with Coinbase. Buy now. I think you'll get a cheaper price. Let me zoom out. I was on the 15-minute time frame. I will, if I'm going to do this right, we got to zoom out. Let me take a drink of water. Alrighty. It's only fair since I'm hour and 30. How did this get to be an hour and 13 minutes? This time it's turkey time. Oh, now the fun starts. All right. NCT daily. Let's take a. What we got? Man, I need to zoom out bigger. So this is our current trade setup that we had. Target met. Oh, look, nailed it. Sorry, I got to do this. It's part of the algorithm. We have to do this for YouTube. We got a bigger target up here at 15 cents. Just throwing that idea out there. Oh, can you move that? I can't even spell. Now I'm going to say this. I say, are you? The old me would have looked at somebody doing these megaphone patterns and just laugh. I was, yeah, right. That's how we're going to play out. And looking at, but we're down here. I'm doing the megaphone pattern. I'm putting the targets out, and I'm saying, I know it sounds crazy now. Until that one day when the target hits, and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe we hit that target. And that's something that happens with my little system. The fibs and trend lines. If I had nothing else to go by, I would go with fibs and trend lines. Just price actions, fibs, and trend lines. All the other stuff, just some little helpful bells and whistles for confirmation. Oh, I might want some moving averages. I love that. I would have to. Fibs, trend lines, and moving averages. Awesome. Just those three. I mean, we got RSI, MACD, Market Cipher. They're all very helpful. We can use them, consult them for their opinion and everything. But man, price action, fibs, support levels, trend lines, and I do like the moving averages. They do help me out of a pinch, I gotta say. They're all just things to help. So we're back in the pattern right now. So rejection there. Okay, so let's do this. Let me get the little vanity thing out of the way, but I have to do this for the algorithm. This is NCT. We go over to the chart room. Vanity wall. Hey, look at this. 268% Pingu from Hey You from MG. Congratulations, my man. Excellent. Already on. Don't make that money. I want to see your Lambo next year. Come on. All right. NCT. Nailed it. You got to do this, or as people say, you're full of shit. Did I say that word out loud? All right, so now we got this. Let's clear it out. Boom. This is over. What we got? Let's get down to nitty gritty. I'm on the weekly here. Let's figure it out. You gave me a $10 super chat. I'm going to give you the works, baby. I'm going to give you the works. 618. That's where it came from. I know it's crazy. That tells you everything you need to know right here, isn't it? Zooming out, using this simple little system of the Fibonacci, gave us that nailed it point. That easy. It can be this easy, folks. Here's the thing that I'm always preaching: swing low to swing high, man. This area right here is your accumulation zone. You often come back to test that, okay? I want to mark it here, and you're going to see kind of how they relate when I pull my new fib, because since we got rejected there, I can pull a new fib to get some more information. But in general, we come back, you can stair step, you can still use this idea. But it will probably come back and retest that area. Now, that was the weekly. I'm going to zoom in on the daily, and look what's happening. Boom, right here she is retesting that area. Right now as we speak, on the daily, I couldn't really see that on the weekly. She really no, she's up here. I'm sorry, she's up here, but she did wick down to that area. If you can see. You'll probably see it better when I come down smaller time frame. Let's go to 4 hour. There she is. There's a retest of that area. So I could pull a new fib. Seriously, I could. From here to there. Well, let me show you this way. I could pull a fib from a couple of different ways, but here the impulse move from here, the bottom, from the low to the high. You see we came down for a 786 bottom retracement. Good. Happens to be the previous fib that we had for accumulation. We're killing two birds in one stone right here. Retesting our discount zone that we broke out of. You have to do that before we can start seeing higher highs and higher lows, right? Or good higher highs and higher lows. And if we pull a fib from this swing low, swing high, we came back to our 786 retracement. Great confluence right there, baby. We're doing good. Now what? Well, I mean, we can go from high to this low and start looking at some shorter term time frames of prices that take top profit. That could be, but that would be on you, on your strategy. 8.5 cents, 9.5, these areas right here. And then we got our 414 area, which corresponds with the level we've already picked out. Next target I got is going to be about 13.4. Oh, I mean, not the next target, but the next good target. These are the areas that I would look at to take some profit right here. Let me boom out. And that also respected the current pips that we got. So that swing high, when you zoom out, to swing low, that's really all you need right now. It really is. You just watch a stair step up. We want to start looking for this 13.4 cent area if we can get past that 10 cent area. So she should be trying to make some higher highs and higher lows, but after coming out of the scallop, it's going to be kind of tricky. So it will be kind of, I would expect that you will see a lot of up, down, up, down, up, down between these zones to try to get up through there. It'll be jaggedy, but it looks like it'll be kind of cool. 4 hour. Let's start drawing some trend lines now and start tracking some things. Well, let's go over the trend line idea on this. So you got this idea, awesome, didn't even come back to touch it. That is showing a little hint of parabolic activity when we don't come back and touch that main trend line. Secondary trend line, I want to come from this. I'm going to zoom in. Secondary trend line, my order of operations here. Go from our last touch, which was here, to our next one. We follow that guy. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us it didn't hold. No shit, Sherlock. But it tells us we broke back in, making this a what? What does it make this in that scenario? That makes this a bear trap. When you get a bear trap, break back into a pattern or trend line, you often get a strong move. Often, if you've got a pattern of some sorts, and I know this sounds crazy, I know this looks totally stupid, but it gives you some targets to the somewhere along the top of this trend line. And it sounds crazy until that one day we come back here and we see the price has hit it. Maybe got rejected from it, nailed it. Yeah, and that's just what we do. I know it sounds crazy right now. Things impossible. Sounds impossible. So I see this as a good sign. Do we do shorter time? And if you're looking for something short term, you want to go with this one. You got confluence with the 0.5 and the 618 and 0.5 on a bigger time frame. And the 618 for this move. That's saying, ooh, baby, if I had to pick one for a good place where she'll get short-term rejection, she will get slapped down, I believe, right here. 085, come back, probably stair step down. Don't know. I'm just guessing, just based on what I've seen before. I mean, she can do anything along these lines. Who knows? She can't do circles though. She will not do circles. I promise that. And she will not go this way, that way. Those are the two things I can promise you that will never happen on this chart. It's not going to make a circle, and it's not going to go backwards. We only can go up, we can only go down, and we can only go sideways. Those are our three options there. You got a 33% chance to be right. If you had a three-sided coin, you could play those odds. What's it going to do? Is there a three-sided? Is it possible to do a... That would be... It would be round. It would have to be round. It'd have to be like a football kind of shape to get three... That's weird. All right. So that's what I kind of see for NCT. She made a higher high and then she did over here on the 15-minute time frame now. Here on the 15-minute, you can see our moving averages. The 800, the 600, the 360. Looks to me, this is cool. This was going to cross bearishly over Lucy, but now if we can get a break above this, if this 800 will hold here as support, we can break above that and start working up to those areas that we're talking about. She's gonna be clearing those. You got your golden cross here on the 15 minutes. Say buy now or buy the next retest, technically is how I explain it. I think things are looking good for you. So that's what I see, Matty Ghost, for NCT. Overall, thank you so much for your $10 super chat. Hope I gave you your money's worth. Now, you asked for my thoughts on it. Now, for the project itself, we didn't cover this idea. Let's take a look. It's a 277 ranking. It's got a $227 million market cap, so it's still a small market cap. This thing can get to the billions. To get to 2 billions, that'd be a 10x. Get to 1 billion, that's a 5x-ish. Solana, there's a contract, there's the website. We might check that out. Its all-time high was 2 hours ago at 26 cents, so we kind of topping at the tops. All-time low was almost 3 cents. It's up almost 655% from 2 days ago. So, I mean, this one's popped off. This one has popped off. It's just popped off. Oh, for PIPPIN. Right. We were looking at NCT. I was wondering, wait a minute. We were looking at... I got confused. So PIPPIN, so we talked about this earlier, I think. It's got 1 billion maximum supply, 1 billion circulating supply, total supply. That's pretty good. So she needs to pull back. She does need to pull back. That could be a triple top we're looking at right there. She's extended. She needs to come home. She had her fun. She needed to chill out for a little while. You can get it cheaper. Take some profit. Just saying. I guess we need to check back on Bitcoin. I keep forgetting that. How you doing, Bitcoin? Is that you? Oh, you died, Bitcoin. What happened to you on the 1 minute? I turned my back on you for 1 second. You start losing everything. Well, that's what we got this guy for down here, to catch us. You also have these horizontal levels right here to try to catch us too. So without pulling out anything new or anything fancy, kind of look for 94 might be coming into play. See if we can catch it 94.8. That would be good if we can catch that 618. Can you do it? It can. This is a slightly bearish though, that 600 that we were so proud of. Something to cross bearishly over the 800. That's not saying that we're going to dump, but we might come down and talk to this one again here at 94.4. I'm going to throw that out. That gives me some confidence a little bit that we might be coming back down to this area if we don't bounce here. Signs that we might bounce here would be the 150 hanging up above this, and that's enough air in our balloon to get us back over here, and that would be cool if we do bounce, and then we can start. I think she looks like she wants to triple top. You can't tell anything. We're on a 1 minute time frame. Always zoom out. Still waiting for this 95.99 target to hit, and she's not done it quite yet. You suck, road dog. Turkey time. True Givers Game. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for the gifts. The gifted memberships. We missed the ASM. What's ASM? Do Audi crypto. Cool beans. All right. Let me see if I can just catch up on the chat that I missed when we were all in the small time frames there. When I was in the small. To the upside. Bracket says $78,000 flash crash in the cards for January 20. It could happen. It could. Be cautious. Like you gotta plan. I mean, I'm planning. I'm planning in case that happens. I've got a plan in place in case we get down there. Ward PC guy says I called 77 before the real pump a couple months ago, so it sounds about right. It is weird that I use both sets of candles because I can't stand not. Is it weird that I use both sets of candles because I can't stand not knowing the exact price action? No. I remember when I used to, what he's talking about is that sometimes on the Heikin-Ashi candles, I don't know if this is a good. If you start out with the regular Christmas tree candles, you got exactly right where price is by, the thick candle. That shows you exactly. Heikin-Ashi figures it out a little bit different. And so it'll give you, a smaller candle body, but it'll represent the price on this dotted little line. And it may not be to the wick. And you'll see, I mean, it's weird. It does take a little getting used to. But I remember I'd be following exactly price on these type of candles and using that. I think it's more of a hindrance to do that in retrospect. I think that scared me out of a lot of things. Got my emotions involved when I was looking at these candles more than when I look at Heikin-Ashi. After a while, you do get used to it. But I mean, I understand the reason, because if you got a target, you want to know if you're actually how close you're coming to it or whatever. You know that exact price action. You can't really do that so much on the Heikin-Ashi, because they do the beauty of the Heikin-Ashi, it takes all the noise out. So when you're on a trend, you don't get Christmas tree candles where they're going red, green, to make you think, because you see the effect on the 1 minute chart guy. The first, you get a couple of red candles after, you get to take off in green candles. He's ready to cut it off. I'm cutting it off now. Bailing out early. So you get in the habit of bailing out early by those ideas. Heikin-Ashi candles will help you avoid doing that. I did notice, I was watching 1 minute chart guy today, and I noticed that on this exchange, he was using the Heikin-Ashi candles. And so I'm wondering if maybe CryptoFace is kind of trying to turn him on to the Heikin-Ashi candles. CryptoFace is actually where I got the idea for Heikin-Ashi candles. And the beauty of it is that, especially if you're a pattern trader, it just helps the pattern stand out to you more. It's so much easier to recognize the patterns. You might miss them on the regular candles because there's so much noise. You wouldn't see them as clearly sometimes, but you can see them a lot more clear sometimes with the Heikin-Ashi candles. So no, it's not weird. It's not weird, but I would predict that over time you'll probably get a lot more confidence in the Heikin-Ashi and just kind of use them. I have a lot more better results with Heikin-Ashi. Joe says, Road Dog not used to seeing someone trade the 1 minute time frame and not flip flop trade on emotions. Trading on skill is pure alpha. Well, and then also, well, I mean, we got to address I guess the elephant in the room is that, TA and your trading, they go hand in hand, but they're two separate things or two separate skills you got to work on. The TA helps you get a feel to understand price action, make your trading plan. It will help you make a good trading plan. That's what we use it for. But the trading, the actual trade part, that starts when you put your money on it. That's where your emotions comes in. So if you find yourself jumping out too early for trades, I mean, our whole thing is to try to figure out our weak spots and make them better. In my opinion, when you come to the trading game, you got two outlooks. You got the person that's just looking for the monetary gain, trying to look, what can I get out of this trade? How much money can I make from this trade? Is this trade going to make me money? And okay, they're going to get their asses handed to them quite often if you come with that mindset. But if you come to this game with the mindset, I'm going to work on my skills, I'm going to tighten up my skills to figure out this TA game. I'm going to tighten up my skills. Or even in the TA, or even in the trading, the actual execution of your trades, keep working on tightening up your skills, tighten up your game. And you just really get into the process to where you're working on getting to be better, to get a better process and get a better play on this. And then you're going to start, the money's going to come then. When you start focusing on developing your skills rather than chasing the dollars, the money will come. If you're going to focus on chasing the dollars, it's just like chasing the women. You chase the women, they're going to run away from you. But if you stick to you be true to your game here. Stick to being a trader. Be a man in the romantic stuff instead of giving your heart away so easy. And let them see the masculine qualities, and then they start coming to you. So if you stick with your trade, let the trades come to you instead of chasing. I don't know. I'm getting a lot of little ideas overlapping there, trying to make a point. But you work on your skill. Get to focus on being a better analyst and a better trader. How you execute your trades. When you find weakness, if you're jumping out too soon, ask yourself why. Why am I doing this? Why am I not letting the trade play out? Because you jump out and then you look, oh man, it hit that target. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. You got a problem. You're being emotional. You're emotional. So when I see people do that and they do a trade setup and they're jumping out the first red candles, they've still got emotional things to deal with. And if they're sitting here teaching other people the same mistakes they're doing, well, then that's kind of that's a red flag. I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but I mean, try to learn some people that aren't. You don't want to learn from an emotional trader, or else you're going to have those emotional trading tendencies too. You're going to pick up those bad habits. I was in a trading group about four or five years ago, 2020, 5 years ago, I guess. Wow, time passes by. But you know, after leaving that group and on my trading journey, there are a lot of things I had to unlearn too. Now, I did learn some good things, and I even share some of those things here that I learned. But there were a lot of bad habits that I had to unlearn too through that. And they just get passed along. And I see some of those same bad habits because the 1 minute chart guy that I'm talking about, I mentioned, he was also in that same trading group that I was in 5 years ago. And I see some of those same bad habits carrying over now that I guess he never really figured out over these past 5 years. I try not to mention names. I'm not trying to bash anybody, but there are some people making a good argument. Maybe they're sincere in trying to help, but they definitely profited a lot from selling their information. I just choose to take a different route. I'm not trying to sell all this information. It's available for free if you're wanting to look for it. You can find better free strategies than you can a lot of these paid strategies that you go and pay for some of these courses and groups and things. So if you do find a group, finding one that gives you good foundational knowledge, something solid that you can build on and work on, that's what you want to look for if you're going to pay for it, and have a good mentor that's actually putting in the work to do it. And there's only one. I've got a free community, but I'm not sitting there putting in the work that some of these, paid people do. You compare the work that I put into my free trading community, and I do. Mine is a source for resources. That's what I've got. But take somebody like Joe. Now he's in there streaming 3 times a day, streaming with his group. I don't know how often he does. I'm not in this group, but he was in my old group. He was a mentor in that old group that I used to be in. And that's how I'm familiar with Joe here in Trade Intuition. And I see how he worked. He was the guy from the old trading group hired Joe, moved him across the country just so he could be an admin in that group. And when he added Joe there, I was like, dang, this group's starting to take off. And then some stuff happened and things parted ways and whatever. Joe has his own group now, but I can vouch for what Joe teaches and everything. If you're looking for a paid mentor, and I think I'm not really sure what his mentorship is. It's not more than 100. I think it's around 50. I don't know. He's the only one, if you're looking for someone to kind of help hold your hand through this, and I'm not saying that he's going to hold your hand through everything, but to just kind of just always be there with the updates and the insight, that's worth paying for. I'm just saying, if you're new. But you don't want to waste your time getting into one trading group and you got somebody. If you paid for my group and you go over here and expecting me to come here and walk you through, I'll show you directions. I'll do that. But you'd be disappointed in me if you were paying for this. I think I'd be disappointed in what I got from over here. If I were charging $99, I'm like, what are you getting for $99 a month over here? Free trade setup, some opinions, some articles, community. That's all worth something. That's valuable, and I want that. I want that in my group. But I can't see charging for it. But what Joe does different than what I do is he's right in there with you, and he's there. Ask a question very shortly, you get an answer. With me, I might catch it 6 hours later or a day later. That's the difference. Okay. And I'm not trying to show a group. I get nothing from Joe's group or anything like that. I'm just vouching for his character. From what I've seen in Joe's character over these past 5 years, he's a solid guy. And the fact that he goes on here every day for free and shares this information, trying to help you guys during this bull market, that says a lot about his character, in my opinion. Matty Ghost, ASMA, yeah, it's another one I like. I'm afraid of the ABC wave correction on the chart for Bitcoin with the C wave crashing into 70A. Well, that can happen. I don't like that idea either. That's why I'm making plans. That's why I've got some dry powder to be available for that. And I'll try to get back to that. Let me take a look at ASI quick that you requested there. So yeah, the thing is, if Bitcoin does go down there over the next, let's say 10 days, the altcoins are going to feel that pain. And that's why that's why I follow things like Total 3. And I'll just go ahead and tell you right now, Total 3, look at this. This is an idea for altcoins. We lost this main trend line. Now we could gain it. There are signs here telling us that could happen. The 9 being oh gosh, are you for real? Joe, look at this. Look at this. Look at this moving average. I don't see this very often, and it doesn't make sense. It's moving averages are an average of the price over certain times. And they normally just follow what they do. They follow price history, but sometimes you'll get these anomalies in the calculations, and then you get these weird looking things that just shouldn't, logically you're looking at it from a certain way. You'd think, that shouldn't be happening. Mathematically, it works out just by how price moved and the candle bodies were counting. But look this is bullish. The 9 crossed over the 50 moving average, even though price lost it. The 21's under. I mean, this is crazy. So the 9 is over the 50 and the 21 here, and price is way down below. We could be coming back to retest this area here at $997 billion. We got a lot of wicks coming in, and on the Heikin-Ashi candles, that shows a lot of buy pressure coming in. We got some warning signs. I mean, this cloud. But what I see over here in this cloud's telling me, yeah, we got a chance we could ricochet out of this. So we broke this main trend line on Total 3, but we still got this guy here that we could be. I mean, if I get rid of this, you'll see this as a possibly bullish retest of that trend line. And we could recover. Now that's what the daily is telling me, or at least come up to this area and before we roll over and do something. So we got at least we either have a relief rally coming for altcoins, or maybe we've caught support and we're going to make a higher high and then just keep on going. One of those two situations. I would plan for a relief rally and see what's happening there. And if we start gaining above that, then hey man, everything's good. If we start showing some rejection there, then maybe we should start thinking and planning for that bigger drop for altcoins that would come if Bitcoin does come down to 70, 80,000. That's the way I kind of look at it. But there's some good signs here on the bigger time frames, and we could be okay. And you got to take that into account again with where we were 4 years ago, because they love to fake you out. And I remember I got faked out because I was still kind of new to this whole trading thing. I was getting the TA thing. I had my bot experience and some other, I had some experience. I wasn't just totally just a noob, but I was totally a noob to the idea of trading on these ideas. Shoot, I remember 5 years ago I'd be on my phone, right? And I'd be trying to, something happened in the market. I remember shaking so much, being in my emotions so much. I couldn't do the order. I couldn't do the buy or the sell because my nerves were so rattled. And this was in the early parts of me being in that paid trading group that I was in. I remember that. And it takes a while of being in this market for your emotions get kind of numb to it, mostly. You got to get used to all that comes with time. And after you get your ass handed to you so many times in this market and making mistakes, you start getting used to it. I'm thinking that Mr. 1 Minute hadn't had his ass handed to him enough, and that's why he's still so emotional on some of those things. I really think that. Mr. 1 Minute, if you got a paid trading group, you can take all that money, funnel it into Bitcoin and crypto, and that's a great idea. Using passive streams of income to put into Bitcoin, that is genius. So he's doing a genius thing. I just wish he'd talk more about that as being, that's the real way to make life-changing money in crypto. Shoot, if I had $100,000 a month coming in from a trading group income, if I had 1,000 people giving me $100 a month in a trading group, I'd be buying Bitcoin. I'd be buying $5,000 worth of Bitcoin every other day too. Hell yeah, that's just smart. So he ain't stupid. The guy ain't stupid. It just ain't transparent. That's all. No names mentioned. I hate that I have to keep talking about these ideas, but and not trying to bash on him, but I mean, that used to be a more common thing in YouTube to see that. But at least most of the other people I see that do have some kind of group or course or something, I mean, there seems to be a little bit more transparency there than I traded my way to multi-million dollars. I'm like, really? Because I can't see that from what I'm seeing on your emotional trading, jumping out at $50. You know, did you do it $50 at a time? I mean, I don't know. That's a hell of a statement. I traded my way to multi-million dollars, $50 at a time. I took $50 profits at a time. I don't know. I just don't see it. Not trying to bash, not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be honest. Liquidity, let's go. Is that a coin? Don't forget to upgrade your Phantom from Sonic Finance List. You know what? I had how's that doing? Is it Sonic now? And then there's also a Sonic coin, which is a gaming play, so that's going to confuse stuff. So you got one that's actually called Sonic, and then you got S, which is supposed to be Phantom or FTM, and I don't see it listed here yet. So I guess they haven't done it on COINEX. On my exchange, though, I don't even have it pulled up. They already did it, so that they canceled. I wasn't paying attention, and they canceled out my spot margin positions and all that. They stopped it, and everything got moved over to the spot. So I think I got kind of screwed on my trades there a little bit. But they've already switched it over to S, or they're calling it S right now. I think it's probably still listed as Phantom. And I guess once that gets set, they'll go back to spot margin, and I can go back and start working on building that bag back up. But she's been taking a little bit of a hit. Oh, she got up to 143. I don't know when they... So we were on a downtrend when they decided to take me out of all my stuff. Hopefully I took some I don't know. I can't remember. But the profits would have come over too, so I would have spent them on something else. So I missed that. That's another thing you got to keep up with spot margin trading and things like that. They delist a pair, and then if you're not ready for it, and you get caught up in it. So we're losing the channel. This is not uncommon at all. So we had a channel. She broke out bullishly, did great, exceeded the measure moves, made a higher high. I mean, she did good. Look at that. Oh, you just went shy of the 272. Normally it gets nailed a lot, but you can see this. A lot of times we are looking for things to get nailed, but you know that's a lot of sell pressure right there is the way I interpret it. We came close, we didn't hit it. Doesn't mean the fibs are wrong. 113 here got that area. We just popped up a little bit and came a little shy over 272. I read that as being a little bit more bearish, and probably got some bearish divergence if we looked at the chart. Yep, bearish divergence on a bigger time frame. Was this it? I believe this is it. It was going up and this was going down. Let's make sure that pans out there. Yep. Yeah, that was it. So that was bearish divergence. That would have given you a clue. A clue. That happened to be a nice clue. M top, and then we come down. Okay, so what are the yapping? Let me get on my yapping here. So we broke out of the pattern, came back, and we came back into the pattern. Okay, so what you look for when you do that is for the bottom of the pattern, and that's exactly where she went. Tried to bounce, and now we lost that pattern. Sucks. And more of a bear trend, I would expect that the bullish market. You know, I hate to see that happen, but it's not uncommon. You can see it come all the way down to 40 cents with that idea, because she can do that kind of thing. Will she do that kind of thing? That's the question. Let's clear out Phantom. Get an idea for what she's doing. That's a nice run though. Higher high, 150. I hope I worked that. I got to zoom out. I'm going with the 3-day. So yeah, there could be a lot of stuff going on while they figure all this stuff out. I wouldn't doubt that she would come down, touch the 200 moving average area where these guys are consolidating between 48 and 55 cents there. This looks good. 600, 200, 3. They got some work to do. 150 crossed over that. It looks pretty good. Momentum wise, moving averages. I would say zoom out, go back to October, go back to that. because you lost. Oh, no, you haven't. I thought you lost that one. I guess I was looking at this angle. So you lost this one. This one might hold. It might hold. And what are you in? What kind of pattern is this? I know it's crazy, right? If she were to bounce off of this and find herself up at $2. Look at this cup and handle to the up. It could be. If she doesn't go below 66% and she hadn't, okay, so she holds this trend line here, you might actually have, it might be a cup and handle pattern. It might qualify as a cup and handle. To the upside. What you will notice difference between what I call a cup and handle and what, say, the 1 minute guy, because I use him as a reference. Anything, it doesn't matter if price is coming up or down for him. Now, cup and handle is technically a continuation pattern. It is technically a continuation pattern. So if you have price that's coming down that makes this, what would you expect? You'd expect that, well, if it's a continuation pattern, either it's going to come down like this, or if we're at a bottom pattern, a bottom area, and that's where I see this applying a lot, it ends up being more of a double bottom. Check it out, but what you hear is cup and handle to the upside. And when it doesn't, it's blaming it on market makers. Oh man, well this didn't, Bitcoin dropped. It took the. Well, no, it just wouldn't. It wasn't. It didn't really follow the true description for a cup and handle set by, I think it's William J. O'Neill that came up with the cup and handle. Thomas Bukowski goes over it too. But price will go up into it as a continuation pattern. If it doesn't come back below 2/3 of the way for the handle idea, then we can break out. And your actual measure move is to treat this little sucker like a channel. You'd treat it like the channel that it actually is. Do you see that? Here, let me do it a different way. Let me take this angle that we drew down here and let me just carry it up here. And we'll go from wick and then it goes to that candle body. So I rested on the body. And we got confluence with the wick. So your measure move for the cup and handle is the same that you would get from a channel, and that's how you apply it. That is the authentic measure move. What has become savvy now, because people playing this as flag patterns, and they're flag chasers. I call them flag chasers because that's really what they are. They look for a higher high and a higher low and call it a cup and handle. Okay, well, that kind of takes away from what a true cup and handle is. If you're trying to learn the true, the traditional meaning of a cup and handle, instead you get all these new interpretations. Look, it's a drunken cup and handle. It's a ascending cup and handle. It's a this. Really, it's just it's a series of higher highs and higher lows. Then this one is too, technically, a high, a low, higher high, hopefully a higher low. And the measure move that they do is, if they play it as a flag pattern, they'd be doing something like this to the upside. But your measure move can be so much better. Just some ideas on pattern trading. For any of you guys new to this idea, a lot of these ideas come from the patternsite.com. Thomas Bukowski wrote the book on pattern trading right here in the Encyclopedia Charts pattern. You got time? I highly recommend that you get that book. It might change your life as much as it's changing mine. And you get away from all this little YouTube nonsense that's thrown out there, regurgitated information that may, and get to the source where they took it from and they got away from it. The 68% falling wedge pattern to break to the upside came from Thomas Bukowski. I mean, he says that other patterns got other percentages. He's got other statistics for stuff. But yet, it's common in this crypto space for somebody to say every pattern breaks to the upside 68% of the time, breaks to the downside 68% of the time. You're getting false information there, or you're getting inaccurate information, skewed information. You can buy this book used for $156, hardcover. You can also go over to our Telegram group, and there may or may not be in our lending library a PDF file that you can download. I hope that you bring that PDF file back now. Be fair. But there is a digital copy available over there, or you can just go to the patternsite.com, because all that information, this is literally this book on the website. Literally is free. There's your options to change your life. If pattern trading is what resonates with you, that's where I'd recommend. Guys, it's getting late. I think I need to get off here. Turkey has a mouth about a foot wide. Don't forget my eyes. I got pretty eyes. I got the prettiest turkey eyes you've ever seen. And golden brown skin. I'm a vain turkey, I know. I'm a handsome turkey. I could get more chicks as a turkey than I could as in real life. Jeffrey says he's a pretty good teacher. If you're brand new, maybe. If you've been around for a little while, if you've been around and did your homework, there's a lot of cutting corners going on there. I'm not trying to be mean. But I don't get that. And maybe it's me. But I just see too much flip-flopping. I just see what's this, is this, or it could be this, or that. And I'm like, how is that teaching me? And it only counts when it goes in the direction that, So I don't know. But then I'm not in that group. I've never been in that group, so I got that to say. So I'm not trying to bash, but I'm just calling out. There can be some better. There are definitely some better methods than waiting for a price to come back and see what it does on the 21. There's definitely some better methods than trying to determine what you're going to do based on the 1 minute 200 moving average. And trust me, this one goes back to my bot days, because this was a strategy I actually programmed into my bot. I know the results of this on 1 minute, especially on a 1 minute time frame. It's not profitable. It's break even at best. If I set a bot to buy and sell every time price crosses that 201 minute average, I have done it with my bots and let it go for longs of times in the bull market. And it was break even at best. But now if you take bigger time frames and apply that, if you will plan on bigger time frames, and then you can actually kind of zoom in on the 1 minute to do your execution, that's where you could use that to your advantage. But let's say, you could go, do we have anything that I can use here? I'm trying to come up with a good example, but I'm not. Here we go. So here we go. Okay, 36 minute, we're below the 200 moving average. So technically we're bearish on this one. Smaller time frame here, we see that we started breaking above the 2. That. Okay. If we go to the 1 minute, now we know on the 24 minute on this one, we've already got clear signal. And it seems to be kind of sticking. The bigger time frames would have probably, the 4 hour gave us the go ahead. The 4 hour already told us that this is looking bullish, right? The 4 hour has already given us signs that we were going to bounce here. And 4 hour, 8 hour, the bigger time frames gave us those signals earlier on. Here we are on the 24 minute, and we gained it. We got a bullish cross here. All right. So now if I come back to this 1 minute, do you know how many times I'm going to go in and out of this? I can go in and out above and below that 1 minute 200 moving average several times over the next 24 hours for the bigger time frames to keep playing out to higher moves. Bigger time frames could be giving us, bigger targets up to $1 or something. But if you're playing it, you got better results if you zoom out. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I can say. But I mean, if you're learning something and it's working for you and making you profitable, then got nothing. You're making some progress. But I think that the more time that you're in the market, you'll see that a lot of that stuff is just some stuff that you could have learned just going by Investopedia. I would dare to venture that we could probably type in Investopedia 1 minute 200 MA. Scalping, how small quick profits can add up. Let's see if they give us something. And some of the some of the things, what am I trying to say, that may be rubbing us the wrong way, that some of the clash that I may have, maybe because I'm not sold on the scalping idea. And that's one of the points I tried to make. Yeah, okay. You may have a system there that can work for you, and I'm not bashing that, but you're teaching that to the new people coming in, just learning, and that's more of an advanced thing. That's for somebody that's got time to sit there and do things like that. That's at a level after you get your basic stuff. You know, what the new people need to be learning when they're coming to this market is not how to lose their money and how to make the money with the little time that they got left, right? And if I'm going to take you as a new person coming into trading and get you stuck on small time frames, you're going to miss this whole damn move when you should be doing some swing trading and some some long-term holds, your hodl bags, and knowing how and when to get in those and how to manage those and everything. And that's where your bigger money is going to come from. But to get somebody in new and just now learning TA and stuff, and to get them on the 1 minute, that has always been the no-no. The thing that the people would tell you, even in the trading group that I joined 5 years ago, was like, stay away from that 1 minute chart. You want to zoom out. You want to zoom out. They were true about that. They were right about that. Because then you just get somebody, but you can get somebody just all dependent on you to figure out, well, tell me what it's going to do next. Tell me what it's going to do next. I can't see it. I don't know, but you make, okay, $50. You put an $800 trade out there to make $50 on it. Or you can put an $800 trade out there on a bigger time frame and make $2,000 on it. I'm just saying, I like to make the $2,000, the $1,000, the bigger. I at least want to make what I put out there on that trade. I'd at least like to double it, if nothing else. Or maybe half of it, make $400 on it. But why is it coming? Why are we bailing out when we get our first little 5-10% and I'm out? I mean, I know that's scalping, but how's that going to make you life changing money? How's that going to give you the lifestyle that's being presented to you as, this is how I do my lifestyle? Just some ideas. And again, I hate that the conversation keeps turning toward here. Sonic Chain will flip Solana this year. Oh, that'd be cool. Jeffrey says, you're right about more expensive trader picking through the nonsense. He's good at teaching in order to get people to join the Discord. Exactly. He's good at getting people to join the Discord. And that's where the wealth is made, right there. Simple calculator. How many members you got in that how many members are over there? Well, shoot, if you got 1,500 over there, giving $99 a month, that's $148,000 a month just on that aspect alone. That's not including affiliates from, I don't know, whatever affiliate, Bookmap is one, whatever. That's not including courses. That's not including add-ons to the course because you thought you were going to learn everything there, but no, you figure out, oh no, there's an advanced leverage trading thing for scalping, which is cool, but isn't it kind of weird that he doesn't use it? Isn't it kind of weird that he doesn't apply those principles? I don't know. Do that for a year. Wow, that's like $1.2 million a year just from a trading group. Now, does that sound lucrative? Do you see where the real money is coming from? What's the balance on the account that he added $20,000 to? It started out at $10,000. It got whittled down over the years to like $5,000, $4,000, $4,500. And then there was added $20,000. And now it is negative $10,000 somehow with all the great gains that's been made over the past 6 months. Something does not add up here. Now, I have not caught everything, but if you're going to do this and teach, you shouldn't be taking money in and out of that account if you're using it to teach, right? Because you want to document that your system works. You want to track your system and be able to document it if you're trying to teach it. You want to use some kind more of a scientific method of approach, something that you can do. But if you're like doing the smoke and mirrors approach, you're like, oh, I took 2,000 out in profit and then I put it in the Bitcoin. I just transferred it over, and then now we're playing 3-card money with these balances. And I'm sorry, the profit and losses are only shown when things are good, right? But never really. There's all kinds of little tricks that are being done. And when you do the math, you can see the motivation. as sad as it is, you can see the motivation. And $100 a month for even 1,000 people, 100,000 a month. That's motivation to Sheila Trading Group. All right, guys, I did not plan on this. One of these days, this stuff, these topics will not come up, but it just helps do some stuff. I've been going for 2 hours, and that was way too long. I only want to do 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I'll be back again tonight, and we're going to keep it a 1-minute flag chaser free stream with no mentions on that. Okay. We got to focus on the road dog methods, but I do use that. I do use that a lot. I point out those things. I do use that as trading. So that's where it comes from. I do use the things here to teach, and this is what I was going over today. This is on a 1-minute time frame, and this is what I call pinching the tip. Instead of zooming out to see what's going on, the bigger time frames would told me ahead of time, told me last night what to expect today. Okay, and here we are on the 1 minute trying to figure it out. This is what here. Let me go. Trade setups. When have I been following this? Look. Here's what we had last night. This is what the bigger time frames were telling me. We had these targets over here as we play along. Finessing it. This was that's the Dirty Sanchez. That was the wrong one. At the end of last night's stream, I said I thought we were going to get rejected there, and we ended up breaking out. So it said, "Screw you, road dog. I'm going to break out." So I threw in the targets. I already had my targets there from my Fibonacci, knowing. And I didn't have to spend my time pinching tips, chasing flags on the 1 minute. My trade plan was set up by zooming out and just using some more advanced techniques. Not really all that advanced, really just different. Just not getting caught up in the 1 minute stuff, the small time frame stuff, zooming out. How did this work out for me? How did it work out? Did the targets hit? Did it nail the targets? Did I have to figure it out? How do we get out of this? This is how it played out. Oh crap, where'd it go? First target hit right there at 94. I mean, it did this beautiful, right? I was expecting maybe to get to 95.9. Instead, a 618 did what a 618 should do. Here was my celebration. I was like, oh, yay, $1. Woo! Make it rain. From there, this is what we had. It got rejected. I didn't have to get up here and put a flag to the upside. We had targets down here. If it comes down, if it gets rejected, I got a fib level to tell me where I could pick it up. It actually went down to my fib level and nailed it, a 618. We are between a 618 Fibonacci's. We're in a range. That was a range. It was making a range right there. That's what it was telling us. And I didn't have to chase it flag to flag to flag or anything like that. I just had to zoom out, do my targets. And that it should be that easy. So this was done hours and hours ago before somebody chasing the 1 minute could finally figure it out. And so that my point is like, if you have a full-time job, you can't do that 1 minute stuff. You need a system that you can zoom out and find these answers without having to follow minute by minute. Because the whole time he was doing that, look, how many times did he change? We had an inverted head and shoulders, another inverted head and shoulders, and then we had a something else, a double top. So we print out, we call, well, as soon as you got the red candles, it wasn't an inverted head and shoulders anymore. Now it was a double top. And so what are you learning from that? Be wishy-washy. But he's calling out this, and then whichever way it goes, we nailed it. We called this. But no, there's a lot of, he was very confused doing all that. All totally confused, trying to figure this out all in the 1 minute and went out and all this. And then we got to this. Well, then it's this symmetrical triangle. It'll go up or it can go down and blah, blah, blah. And all these different ideas, when you compare that to if you zoom out, if you just zoom out, and I didn't zoom out that far. This is a 6 minute time frame. Now I did zoom out price wise. It's kind of the same price action when you do that as you'd see on a 1 hour. But it's, you know, zooming out and looking at the bigger shapes, bigger ideas, because they're telling you there's a breakout for this, there's a measure move for this. And why aren't we playing that instead, you know, trying to figure out, trying to tell the future from the 1 minute chart, when the bigger time frames will give you a lot more information there. That's what I'm trying to share, the points I'm trying to get across. And then here we are. We came back, retested that target. Where are we at now, Bitcoin? Did we ever get up to 95, 99? Did we ever get to 96,000? I forgot. We had our higher target. I believe we did. Yeah, we started making it up toward, yeah. And so the 1 minute guy was sitting here trying to figure out if we're going to get a head and shoulders, or if it's a double top, or this and that's, a little of this, it's a little of that. Listen, man, this is just a little bit higher, just a little bit higher. And it's already told me 50 moving averages starting to do, she's starting to do a 180 right there at that 200 moving average. We got 200 crossing the 360. That's giving me bullish moment. There's all these little signs that we can look for, and the Fibonacci levels that we had, and then we come back and touch my targets. Did we touch our targets? Let's verify that. Did we touch Bitcoin's targets? Where's Bitcoin? I think it's this one. Did we ever get up there? I don't know if the second target got hit. Oh, it's still not got hit. Still not got hit yet. So my second target still not got hit, but I'm not here sitting here having to chase the 1 minute to figure out what we're going to do. We're making a higher high, a higher low. I expect that to get hit. We got a measure move at 97.5 from this pattern here. That's my play. We're just waiting. And if you're working a 9 to 5 or any kind of job like that, or a 12 to 7 or anything, whatever you're doing, you don't have time to be in these charts like that. You just don't. These are the techniques that will help you. The swing trading, the position trader, the longer term plays are the ones that are going to help you get on the right track to make that life-changing money. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me and putting up with me. 12 people still hanging out here. I'll see you tonight. John, can you take us to the end screen? I can't find the end screen. Good night, everybody. Good day, sir. I say good day, sir.
Talking about big cash, that's the minimum. I'm done with this trash. Talk to be critical. Show me your mental state before we get physical. Pour some water in your cup, let it drip, drip, drip. Now